Oh, mother brain. Yes.
I got that.
Except these.
Oh, now, you can walk in with that on. All right. Now I got
I
that.
don't have stompy boots. Look at this crowd. All right. Here goes.
I've journeyed through the netherworld in search of the cursed souls of fallen villains. Tonight is a night for darkness. It is a night for a vigil. Tonight is the final night of a legendary poetry event, unlike the world has ever seen before. I have toiled long and hard to reach this precipice of my existence. I asked the gods and demons for advice on how to be sinister. I have paid a dire price. My body aches, my heart has ceased to beat. My soul is in another dimension. I gather all of you here tonight for two important reasons. One, to hear the tales of the dead and recently resurrected. And two, to say goodbye to an era of poetry and peace. This is the final page 2 poetry. I am your host and overlord for one more night, James Otter.
Yeah!
Everything started on Halloween. Everything shall end and move on, as leaves from the tree fade into paper. We poets shall gather the pieces and make our own story. I'd like to say it's been a good run. Tonight is special. We've beaten the odds! We shouldn't even be able to do this, but we're doing it! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! So tonight we celebrate poetry, and we celebrate horror. And I've got a bag of oranges in my pocket. Anyway, on this final night, I gift all who have signed up 13 minutes. That is the most time I have ever given anyone. You don't have to use it all, by the way. In fact, you don't have to use it all. It's totally fine. I don't have as many rules tonight either, but 13 is for luck. The timer is a thing for a moment, and it's a thing that's going to be hidden somewhere in the venue. Number 3, do not interrupt anyone. This is our final show, and I want to make sure, I should have been making sure, all poets are always heard to the fullest extent. With that said, how about we fuck yeah so loud, fuck yeah, our voices hurt. There we go. Well, anyway, I got a poem for y'all, and it is a horror poem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Otter.
Woo! This is from last year. I didn't read it. It's so long I split it into 2 parts. I'll read the second part later. Part 1, bad words. Sparing the semantics, correcting my spelling, arguing about all my victories. I'm not who I pretend I am. My failures are your projections. It feels good to be right every now and then. Precurse. Planted in my heart is a toxic cactus. His flowers are deadly. Close your eyes and look at me. Tell me what you really see. Poem start. Learning to get inside your narrow mind. To closely examine A simple series of gears and buttons, one for one, knobs and levers. Even numbers come with easier equations, pulleys and string. On the other side of the surgical chair, specialty tools lined up in parallel rows. Bootlegged fentanyl siphoned through a rigged tube, filling the plastic mouth. This is less a surgery, more an introduction. Knife, meat, hairline, and the many layers of skin tissue of the scalp. Saw, meat, skull. Hypo, meat, brain. The Latin names are lost to me. Think about Pogo, the beloved neighborhood clown. His makeup was triangular and sharp. He was a killer. Underneath that baggy, multicolored suit, from the beginning of the day to the end, he was a killer with a charming leave it to Beaver attitude, a regular at most neighborhood activities. Fear, center of the brain, introduce yourself to the serum within the syringe. The needle tip isn't the star of the flu shot. It's the vaccine saying hello to your bloodstream, testing your body. The vaccine terrorizing the ignorant. John Wayne Gacy was a clown that couldn't cry. He knew how to pretend to laugh. Great kids. The neighbors invited him to private parties where they would drink and talk about work. His house always had this odd smell. That's what the neighbors said behind closed doors. Must have been the piping. Serotonin can be deadly. It's not a bad idea to have some of it removed and stored for emergency purposes. Drill. Meet the part of the brain that manufactures dopamine. I wonder what would happen if this precious mess of a mind was to be condensed into a pure form. The neighbors were shocked to learn John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer. He was so charming, always there to fix a broken pipe, give a little life advice. His house still stinks decades later, decades after his execution, even after the den of sins was shredded into dust. The lot still emanated a stench of youthful waste. The introduction went well. The sutures are holding everything together with ease. A small fracture of the skull cap has found its way into a shimmering trash can with the rest of the personality. When Jeffrey Dahmer did this to people, he used a power drill and drain cleaner. Jeffrey Dahmer was the class clown. He was also the weird kid who collected roadkill. Jeff had his friends. He even had a fan club. Those loving fans became much darker, edgy people binging on his life, analyzing the details of his murders. Jeff took what John Wayne Gacy did and made it so much stranger. One of his victims got away until he was brought back by the police as a runaway. Getting out of a chair after a mild surgery with a sleeping perspective. The bedroom steams. It's hard to discern people from shadows. The song Happy Birthday is playing on repeat. Balloons of all shapes and colors. It's a new day on Earth. A new world waits. One where the sun is always out and it's always warm. Never too hot. The room has red walls. Dark door is red too, no knob. Only a small window with a postcard worth remembering. Remembering is a challenge. The feeling of deja vu. Disattached. Running on fumes. Oh. Anyway, that's part one.
Yeah!
Alright, with all that's been going on, I forgot to give an advisory. It is Halloween. It's all horror poetry night. Things are going to get really, really freaky. So, you know, batten down the hatches.
Check out your umbrella.
Yeah,
pull out the umbrella, baby.
Thanks, X, man. Alright, so let's see who will
start the show. Joshua Merce. Or should I say, the Nomad?
The Nomad. I thought you said to write horrible poetry.
Sorry.
So since I have 13 minutes, I'll read this one poem 47 times. You know me. Yes, somebody said the magic word.
Familiarity breeds contempt, brother.
Only one this thing.
A crazy and wild Halloween, like nothing that you've ever seen. James Otter, to win it, put all his heart in it, as well as his liver and spleen.
Straight up. I'm gonna call a person up from over here.
All right.
Because I'm kind of trapped. Oh my goodness, he's back again. Next up is the world's most prolific serial killer of all times, Mr. H.H. Holmes.
Doctor.
Yes.
I'm going to do my shtick, and then Jacob asked me to represent him.
Yes.
Since he had to take the little one. H.H. Holmes. What he actually said. I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor, beside the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me since. Yes, I studied medicine, where I learned of the poisons and the weaknesses of the body. I learned so many things, and I put them to my uses. I would have committed at least 6 other murders than those they know about, and them they don't, had not certain occurrences intervened. I had planned them, and was several times ready to carry them out when something intervened. Minnie Williams, one of my wives. I really did love that woman. Well, it's tricky. And it was a good job done too. Homes and hospitality. I have bought a tenement and made it a hotel. Invited the broken to stay the night. Asked the innocent to sign a lease. I watched them list their unsteady lives down my hallways toward a certain death. How I welcomed them in. My tools are simple yet sharp, as pointed as an ice pick, as quick as poison. I have married widows for their money, murdered 2 young wives for less. Traveling salesmen have just disappeared. I help all kinds of people in ways you can't imagine, and they are never seen again. I call it room service, where a dumb waiter can hold a body down to a furnace in the basement that burns the evidence and heats the building. I call it smart business. Everyone pays their bill. But I'm not attached. I can leave town on a moment's notice. I can change my appearance. I might even change my name. You might meet me a year from now in another city as a night manager in a suspect hotel. Yes, sir. H. Holmes at your service. How can I help you? Just one night? Room for one? Early wake up? I'll take care of it myself. Your affairs will be available in our safe. Good night, sir. You will be in our service, in our furnace by sunrise. Happy Halloween. So Jacob asked me to read this on his behalf, and to those of you who know Jacob's style, you will understand the dilemma I have, if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Okay, good luck, Charles. All right. Elastic. Special right on the dock. The dark, wet, introfraction, internectic, triphosific. Inward, ictramage, shimmers, in cloverside, to worthburn, in fringe infinify. Temp more the immorta, writ morbid, extorcha, shimonard, finsor shin, mixlerdu, liver porchum, drick, interestridge. In locust swarm northern avaloon, thib ramble on moor, like form. Lactic implosion, synatato frozen, compulated eucalation. Fortified in lithosphere, the cordial in sorphus. Interest, it climbs into forward motion. Ladder, splaying corner over corner. Last thing it wanted was the it to drop singing. Around and start tin to order to what's up. This is the part of the movie I want to think about. What I am saying, Poodle's book full power, real book full mega, mondo, chunker, brawn. It makes more sense for me in words. Yes.
Well, what a mix. So, God, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Holmes, good to have you back. And the spirit of Jacob, I'm not sure how to describe his poetry. I've tried. He hates it if it's called Dadaism. He likes to call it noise.
Can I tell you the origin?
The origin? Yeah, could I bring you up on it? Could I bring you up here?
Yeah.
For a second? I gotta look through the book. I'll give you a couple.
Stand in the light so we can see
Stand
you.
here. Here, just see this carpet? Just pretend we're at my house that has a carpet like this. Okay. All right, yeah. So what's the origin of Josh's or Jacob's poetry?
Jacob was a mountain bike boy, yon launder ago, in a land away from not here. And then one day we tried marijuana.
Marijuana.
And then he was like, whoa, dude, do you know what real life is? Do you know what a word is? You don't need to put them into places you think that word should be. Words can go next to any other words and sound like words, man.
Yeah!
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Dennis?
Yeah.
Yes!
All right. Well, and also, Stephanie, you are up next. I want to acknowledge your poem as well, Joshua, because I was trapped in the netherworld.
How's the spleen doing?
And all my organs feel like they need to leap out of my body right now. Yeah, they just need to just kind of go on vacation into other bodies. Anyway, Stephanie, fantastic! Really? You want the microphone?
Yeah. Pretty loud, yeah.
I do enjoy getting up close and personal with the crowd. They seem to be right there. Take it away!
I've got some spooky poems, but I've also got some obscene poems.
That's cool, that's like BDSM.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna start spooky. A troll witch did dare call herself by the name of Lilith, the spider goddess, queen of the demon-wed pits. She kept her lover's heart in a jar by her nightstand, and every day she grew in power and influence, until the day the Spider Queen heard her own name being spoken aloud to a creature who was not she. And in a rage, she opened the door between wet realms. Her web-covered pit adjoined the witch's mountain home, so suddenly that the witch had no time to prepare before she was dragged screaming into the dank darkness. And every night the Spider Queen would suck the insides from the witch's body, leaving behind a hollowed-out husk, and every day the troll witch would slowly regenerate in her webbed prison, only to be consumed again when night fell, a Promethean nightmare all her own.
Damn.
I know if I opened my eyes, some horrible creature from the depths of darkness would be staring down at me, eyes reflecting any light they can catch, claws ready to rend flesh from bone. I don't know why it feels safer to meet this monstrosity blind and unawares, but it does, so I squeeze my eyes shut. I try to ignore the hot breath and the thick strands of saliva dripping down across my face. Cornered, hopeless. My last thoughts will be of all the deaths that could await me. Alright, a couple of scene ones. Don't fall in love, he says unironically as he takes his shirt off in the back of a car. I laugh and give him the best blowjob he's ever had in his life. Holy shit, he gasped. And now I've heard that gasp so many times it's not surprising anymore, but it's still always thrilling.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love, I say ironically at first, but as I get older I become more serious. I'm aromantic, I'll just break your heart. I can't be possessed as much as some would like to acquire me. And for what? To put on a shelf? To let me learn you were only interested in the getting and not in the having? I keep people at arm's length, but not because I fear rejection. Don't fall in love because I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
So many other things to do.
There's a lot to do. I got a kid, I got stuff to do. Alright, this one's a little more melodic. Crass? I was busy eating ass. This scene? That's exactly what I mean. I'm intellectual, hypersexual, intersectional, so delectable, curious, lascivious, salacious, and voracious. I won't apologize, don't want to moralize, only kindness out. That's what I'm all about. I was supposed to be in a Mad Hatter costume, but I'm still going to tell Alice in Wonderland because I like it. Caterpillars blow smoke right into your face. You're lost and alone in a strange new place. The cat disappears, nothing left but a grin. You fight so hard, but how can you win? Spot of tea, my dear child, come sit at our table. This land is quite wild, get out if you're able. Change places, we shout, and shuffle our seats. Hurry, dear child, find some new thing to eat. Some dainty trifle, some nice sweetmeat, to take your mind off how we cheat. We prattle along about the inane. It's not my fault, I'm not to blame. The mercury poison is eating my brain. My dear, my sweet girl, we're all insane.
I'm looking for like 4 things right now.
You're squeezing through more.
Yeah, no one else goes through there, by the way. Washed it off. Gosh, you know, tonight's a night for variety. It's also a night to find where the fuck I put things. Who wants an orange?
It's my turn.
Who wants an orange? And who wants candy?
Candy.
I do. Okay.
Have an orange. Who else wants an orange?
Aren't those tangerines?
They're orange!
It is too sweet.
Alright.
Better not be raisins.
So let me be infrequent.
I heard it.
I was looking for something for friends. So the list seems the book is down missing. Oh no.
There's the book.
I'm good. Thank you so much.
I don't know.
Help me find the book. I have it.
We gotta find the book.
Oh, is this
Who has the book?
The book is out.
Oh, fantastic.
I found
Okay,
it.
you have the book?
Here.
All right, whoever has the book, I want you to open it up for me to the most recent page.
I like this.
Then,
Stick your face really close to it.
You'll dive in.
and then I'd like you to announce who's next.
What now? Now see though.
Oh, perfect.
Number 5.
Yeah, number 5. Oh, fuck,
Big
the Illuminati's
dick.
coming. The Illuminati's coming, everyone.
Dick Cheney.
Everyone.
Dick.
It's about time.
The Illuminati. I made some really nasty contacts. I apologize, but look,
Nasty.
sometimes you gotta do something for the show to make it happen. All right, Dick Cheney's here, and I gotta bring him up to the stage. Where's Dick Cheney? The big Dick. He's here. Come on up here. He's not wearing a costume. This is what he really looks like. This is the real deal.
Every night I take it off, and I just thought I'd use it off. People, when I was in power there, people would say I was cold-blooded.
We can't hear you.
Really did they know?
Speak louder.
Into the mic.
Into the mic?
Yes.
Has that
Let
been-
out your crocodile roar, brother. Lizard love.
It's been 100 years since we created the National Federal Reserve, and
No.
I'm trying to get back. We've been working really hard to get back aristocracy.
We can't hear
The
you.
last 40 years,
Sorry.
He's
the last 40 years, we
Turn that
have.
motherfucker up.
Can you hear me at all? Like, right
I
into
can hear
it.
you.
Oh my goodness, gracious me. Anyway, we didn't know exactly what we were doing. We tried Nazism and all that stuff back in the 40 years. Prescott, kids, and killed Kennedy, and did all these things. And then along came Norm Chomsky, and he wrote out these talking points, these 10 talking points, and all of a sudden, we knew what we were doing. And we wrote the Requiem for the American Dream. So I want to sing a little song now. Called The Rattle Man. It's an epic song. I sing a verse and you're going to sing it back to me. I'll sing the first part, you sing it back to me.
Yes, sir.
Keep the rabble in line. Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Reduce democracy.
Reduce democracy.
Shift the burden to the middle.
Shift the burden to the middle.
Shape the ideology.
Shape the ideology.
Redesign an economy.
Redesign an economy.
That only works for a few.
It only works for a few.
But most of all,
Keep
the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Turn on a dime.
Turn on a dime.
Schnell eats the pine. Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Run the regulators.
Run the regulators.
Attack solidarity.
That's all dirty.
Manufacture consent.
Manufactured consent.
Marginalize the masses.
Fertilize the masses.
Engineer the election.
Engineer the election.
Keep the wars a raging.
The wars are raging.
But most of all, keep the rabble in line.
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 They can turn on a dime.
Turn on a dime.
Snell eats the pine.
Dick's snake in the pine.
Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
Give them one source of news.
Give them one source of news.
Let them eat lots of cake.
Let them eat lots of cake.
Keep them all confused.
Keep them all confused.
On the starvation wage.
On starvation wage.
They hate us.
They hate us.
Just as long as they fear us.
As long as they fear us.
But most of all,
But most of all,
keep the rabble in line.
keep the rabble in
Keep
line.
the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in
They
line.
can turn on a dime.
They can turn on a dime.
Snell eats the pine.
Everything back in line.
Snell eats the pine. Snell eats the pine.
Not quite there.
Keep the rabble in line.
Keep the rabble in line.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. Oh.
Down on the floor just a little bit.
Oh, there's more to, there's more
I think you guys
still.
remember this one from Woody Guthrie. Lift it up a little bit.
Keep the guitar in tune.
This land is your land. This land is my land. I've got a shotgun, and you ain't got one.
Get down there.
Yeah.
Spotlight.
This land is my land.
Yeah.
I've got a shotgun, and you ain't got one. This land is corporate property. One more song.
One more song.
Yeah.
One more song.
This is the defense contractors. I don't know if you guys realize that we're living in a nightmare. It's called perpetual war. It's been going on for 17 years now. 18 years. Perpetual war. Contracting, what a business. Make $1 trillion in 1 year. Take a congressman to lunch and let the sucker eat his fill. Whistleblowers, they're not smart folks. On the talk shows, they're all smart. Bible says forgive their trespasses. Send them to the aisle. Carrot bolts, that's $80. Toilet seat, that's 14 grand. 16 wheels on, that's $1 million. Give the Pentagon a hand. Get your children off of welfare. Little deadbeats were no fools. If he let you take the system, next thing you want decent schools. Like they called him Eisenhower, betrayed us with that one speech. Luckily, when no one listened, back in business in a week. They said trillions have gone missing, 20 trillion unaccounted for. But I think that's just plain nonsense. We know where we've got that stored. I want to say one home, last Halloween, kids came in my door. They set the monsters loose and turned them towards my house with open paws, and I didn't have a treat. So I gathered up the tricks from all the neighbors' clouds, and I bottled them headfirst on the doorsteps of my house. I explained how I was sorry, but they didn't seem to hear. They were too busy throwing curses at my foul and wretched house, and I, not knowing why, I went back to being me. They call you hellions or get the dogs on you. And they threw eggs at my hard-boiled face that's pumped and slushed and smelled. Eggshells were bombshells, and I cursed my rotten luck as I stared into the waning night. And an idea came to me. I said, "Come on, little demons. Come and you'll have your treat." And they came forward. And each held up their bag for that scoop of ice cream they each received. And I lit the candle. Slam. Thank you.
Who is that? Hey, that's a scary mask.
I know. It's meant to be scary.
It's a glow mask, right?
Wall Street.
I like it.
No one has took you as well.
Well, do I not have a nice face? Our next performer. Well, let's just say I'm a very big fan of his work. The Earl of Kill. The man of your dreams. Your bad dreams. He's here from stream to stream to poetry night. I bring you Freddy Krueger. How sweet, fresh fruit. It's showtime. I hear you like rhymes. Well, how's this? Roses are red, violets are blue. Cross me and I'll cut you in two. The old man went down to the market to fetch some bread, but never made it home because I cut off his head. You like food? Well, how's about some finger food? Bon appetit. Motel rooms are filled with roaches. If you don't believe me, I'll turn you into one. And it won't be fun. You'll stick around if you know what I mean. I made this glove especially for you. Because you know what they say, no glove, no love. What it comes down to is there's no getting rid of Freddy. You think nightmares come to an end? Well, they don't. Because there's an Elm Street in every city. See you in your nightmares, kitties.
Oh, where is he now?
That was how they left. It's broken. I'm supposed to staple myself. Let's.
No. You can't tell me what to do.
Well, make sure it's loaded then. Stupid thing. Who's next? Who could it be? It's not Freddy. And it's not me. Why?
Ah, this seems like a new face. Paul? No, yeah. Paul! Bardo, where are you, Paul?
Right here, brother.
Come on up to the stage.
Oh.
You're gonna have to go around.
Oh.
Oh,
Good. Very good. Oh no. That tour can't stretch out there.
Sir, you lost your mask.
That wasn't a mask at all. And don't worry, I've got other masks.
That shadow down the hall doesn't live on any wall. When I look like Ben's to hide her, it makes no sense at all. When I turn, she is there. When I look, she is gone. Am I crazy? Am I just scared of that shadow down the hall? Listen, listen. A voice so clear you can scarcely hear. It hums into my dreams. It reminds me of frightful things. And all round reality seems drummers pound their midnight themes. Come now, we are hunting shadows. Come now, we are hunting shadow.
Woo. Oh.
I'm just going to start railing poetry off, and if there's a pause, I ask that people, even if they like it, don't applaud. I just want you guys to listen. I got some shit to say.
Okay.
Scattered to the wind and free as this fruit that holds a dream.
Taste it once to learn to see, drift along the vision stream. The rush of timber sifting time calls the feathers, coals the vine, drops of pearl that pace and climb, and follow me through worlds of pine. In the eye of ghosts that hold the key, she drifts along where I can't see, and that is where I found a girl. She gave to me her secret pearl, the secret of pearl. Hunger. The light within things, they carry vitality. They focus, light ineluctable that spills in darkness, giving shout through the forest. Forms that scamper when whispered, ready for action. Passion that molders like the heart of compost, and those bugs crawl through it, lost among the path and swollen with hideaways and silent closets, where childhood risks and sings for no one. Picking what passes in nourishment of cold hands senseless to touch, but the fever crying gropes for a lit candle and blind fits hard to handle. Ignite. If there's a light within things, there's a shadow to boot, and therefore a presence. Remember the eyes, the dark cyclones that take me in like beating pearls of hunger. Fucking hunger, shape of things unsaved. No longer occupied with the clever flip trick, but minding that real shit, calcified pain in open water. It was never easy to speak the real violence I crave. Pieces of concept that feels waxy in the smile, the fake theater of it down in the marrow. Walking programs tilted to their function while the bodies labor on. Growing pains, the expansion evident in collapse like lives bucked out for greater being that stumble with remembrance.
Yeah.
This microphone sucks, by the way.
Beware, beware, are you aware of being aware? Close the eyes with a blank stare and ask humbly, beware, beware, and begs gently as the mind haunts the haven to ask, am I aware? And filters in the grass and filters thin the air as I stop to stop my thoughts from thought. And I ask myself kindly, am I aware? And I cheer as I cheer the same way that I sneer as this drop in my mind ripples a warning to beware. And all that shit aside, the mind is full of eyes shining out their light as in the still void scattered pin drops let the visions in, crystallizing, carrying with them a certain chill, rising up on thought's foam, harboring many planets, silent orbits, as these properly polluted poltergeists slam into each other to corrupt the silence with the scream. And in the stillness of an inner space, these tiny pricks of light, stars perhaps, begin their strange mutations. Popping open, planets colliding, the visions melting the fabric of a runaway thought, a painful gestation. Then the birth of cognition begins as one by one all these eyes flutter open to stare perplexed at each other. And all these peeping visions, changed by chance collisions, fall their gaze on me, and the mind is full of eyes, burning out their light.
She hit me with a bang. Like a comet, she came blazing into my life with all the fervor of a storm gone wild, all the years mounting like an endless wave waiting to crash. And I stood there on her beach, a hopeless child, driftwood, caught in a cataclysmic undertow poetry can't dare to explain. Looking up.
Up. A tidal wave of cities reaching like a hand to swat the shivering stars. And I watched, and I waited, and I lazily caressed the sea of jellyfish, savoring every sting, every blow dealt me like the wines of Aphrodite, believing for a single transient moment, amid every thunderous sting, amid every lucid blow, believing, then with arms open, I embraced my world. And I walked, waking shadow, down by the lake where you made me, below the trees and the liquid birds. When the sun went down, we watched a rainbow die in pretty colors, and you climbed the place where it had been, you near the surface with your colors bending. And I walked, me with my shadows, carrying a piece of that light refracted into blurring lines, bleeding and running out the thought and burning down, a pathogen of rust dissolving in the current. And I dreamed, dreamed awake, dreamed burning, dreamed set inside this appointed space with the only color I know. Red like your tongue, red like patterns of dawn, red like the knot that turns inside me, umbilical and red and speaking of blood. So you lit a candle to see it in that cloudy moonlight while the two eyes stand downward drawn and peeking in hushed tones, watching the eye maintained. And then you drowned the moon gently as she was that candlelight, drowned her wailing and flailing and waiting for her day. And I saw you that once descend the world put inside you, saw you take pieces of the sky for a pillow and nestle down into a world of your own special ether, where the changing reflections of that space echo in to hide me. I see you in that everything. I saw you playing swan-like up there in the stars where you can't hear me, where you reach down to gently kill and whisper your story of every one.
Oh! Foulest one.
Where's James?
What?
What's up next?
B.
I think it should be good.
I'm out for you. This guy, camera guy. Yep.
Okay,
You creepy guy.
I'm a coming.
Slip.
Oh boy, I see it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. By the way, that was good to do that in the darkness, because I got the sides of his face and stuff. This is really turned out good. But you already knew that you liked the dark part. Sure. Hello, I'm Leo from Cottage Grove, and I'm videotaping tonight, and if you don't want to be filmed, just let me know.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, but this is about somebody you might know. It's called the Gypsy folk. Our science was old when the pyramids were young. My forefathers came to this continent when all the continents were one. Our race as a cloud like a sentience sprung from the nebulae of the first generation of sun. What you see as sigils in black grimmery are imagination's sexual circle. We are we. Elven mysteries, we ourselves, words with no known ancestry. We step from stones abandoned, great faces half finished, leagues from their quarries, leaning on a witch called wind. We are we. We watch your world in our dreams as we sleep. We whisper wild thoughts in your inner ear. We are we. You wait for us. You wait for us. But we are already here. This is called Unkind Nature. If you read H.P. Lovecraft, you probably know about this man's fate. Unkind nature. To others, you show your beauties. Spring bonnets, gentle eulogies, peach-cheeked children, but to me, you show your wan complexion. Am I the son of the seed of a cursed species? Did some forgotten ancestor curse Jesus on the cross, or forge some new religion, and puffed up with prodigies and innovation, strut like a sin-stuffed chicken, full of sausages, figs, and infamy? Why, O nature, so full of breast for others, has the witch queen Hecate chosen to spite me? Why must I lodge in the mongrel quarter of streets with no names, not found on maps made in Christian countries? Why does both love and kindness shun me? Why do others see the stars while only the inky void calls out to me? What do I hear above the storm and brute waves crashing on the shipwreck-littered beach? Are the horns of Pan piping for me? Do leather wings above my carriage beat? Oh, unkind nature, for your other children you are so full of beauty. Why do you reserve bedchambers with rats in the walls and subterranean caverns for me? So many ancestors of my ancestry remain mysteries. Pirates of California, priests bringing prayers from the South China Sea, teachers banned with their books, bachelors born to live miserable lives, decades in rooms they are not seen to leave. And all of these strangers on my long family tree, where can I find my true identity? And at last but not least, how can I face myself in the mirror after my discovery? That's why I pressed for an abortion. That's why I stopped answering Gail's calls to me. That's why I had a vasectomy. That's why I treat my friends like strangers. Please see. I do not want a son or daughter to ever know what the word Innsmouth means to me.
Thank you.
No.
All right. Next up. Leo, thank you. Thank you for filming this. Throughout all the madness, no boy, there has been plenty of that. There really has been. But you know what? We're making it through. Megan, come on up here.
Jeez, move the microphone over.
Oh yeah. I know I need that. Oh. Oh, perfect. Gosh. Oh, my face.
Red and black.
Number of years since I've been on stage, so that's cool. Can y'all hear me all right?
No.
No.
Are you lying?
No.
Speak up a little bit.
Now, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get away with microphone.
So, new poem, no song. This blood is still here, though you, dear love, are gone. Having walked from here into your life, I walked too into mine. I carry the goddess I told you I feared. Her death drips out of me, ever present. For days I've counted, I've measured, I've watched with the keen eyes of the lioness and asked myself, when will it stop? How can I staunch? But I know not. I cannot set this down so easily as you. I hold it in my flesh, in every breath. You get to journey on. I hold my blood clotted thick within my hands. I know not what is fair or what is just. I know the salt on my lips. I know the iron in my skirt. I know the way the road stretches far and wide in high desert plains, and if I were an honest man, I would cry, and I would tell you that I missed you, and how I wished you were here, and how I wished we would witness the blood, and the leaving of the body, and the nature of the pain. But I am not an honest man, so I just tell you that I'm thinking of you, and that I wish you well. I stay easy for you, like Sunday morning, and I keep my tears to the soil. I rejoice despite.
Do you still talk to that person?
You know what? It was like complex, so I got pregnant this summer, and the person I got pregnant with, like, left to Burning Man, like the week before I found out. And then they were at Burning Man until October. And then I got an abortion while we were out at Burning Man. And then we broke up while we were out at Burning Man. And I was just like, this sucks, you can just go do whatever with your life. And I like had complications and lost like 55%. All this crazy shit, but that poem was just like, it's intense how different it is that like you can get up and walk away and be in your life and journey onwards, which is fine, like I support your journey deeply, but like I can't just walk away from that. But you know, my journey's on and I find myself back in this town, doing some grounding after
Yeah. What's up?
Also, my cat died this summer. The song is about him. And he's amazing. His name is Espada. And it means thank you for taking back your power. So, this is a song I wrote.
Can't hear you.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm like, holy shit, it's like all of these things. Like, all this stuff. You were a hunter from the beginning of your life. And I'm so glad I got to look into your eyes. You were there with me and I with you so many nights. So
For you.
Yeah. One of these days you're gonna wake up and make up your mind about whether or not you really even wanna be alive. When you do, I hope you open up your dark, beautiful eyes and see the sun and laugh and cry for what. Talk about sabotage, but do you really know what that means? 'Cause I feel like I'm about to sabotage everything. So that you don't have to, they say. That's the way it always goes, that's the way it's always done. We're holding the sacred vase, we drop it, and then it's done. I was holding you were holding, but we dropped it. And I will move my head, I said on the mountain, patiently walking. Love, because I know that this life is a gift. We were dancing in your bed, now we're dancing in the graves. We were dancing in that summer sun. My God, how I hope that we would dance in the pouring rain. In the pouring rain, my tears fall like pouring raindrops, and I'm learning a lot about how to live with it. Michael Larson, he wrote a song and he's dead now, but I really loved it when he said that agony is our connection to the living. So I will hold my head, I said on the mountain, patiently walking. Love, because I know that this life is a gift. Thank you, Elijah, for letting her phone.
Do you know that red and black are the colors of anarchy?
Of anarchy? Oh, I have no idea.
Anarchy.
This is like one that I just wrote. It's this one. Blue to have kissed you, blue to have dawned the truth, blue to gusty mountain pines, blue across the county lines, blue in taste, coyote tongue, blue in heart, thoughtlessly strung, blue in mornings offered curry, blue in the aching, pulsing, hurling, blue of the heart dragging from my front porch, blue in the questions of what is his work, blue in the friends who come for sweet love, blue in life for the same Tell me. Do things scary.
Well, you know, there's nothing scarier than being alive.
Thanks. Oh shit. You looked amazing.
Except for maybe 5 minutes
There was
ago.
great light.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. Sorry. We're poets. We don't want you to.
Be your new stage.
You don't want you to. I don't want you to. Oh goodness gracious! You know I am so.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Jesse. He's not here. He's busy. I don't know. I'm pretty heartbroken, but I'm super happy to see how crowded this is.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted. Going out. A good bang. This is fucking amazing. It was nice to have you back, Megan. It's been too long. All right. Forrest, now it's your turn.
Forrest.
You want me me to take it out of the thing for you?
Nice and gentle.
Yes. Yes.
That was heartfelt. I'd only heard of the beast before, never seen it. I thought it would never. I thought it was a story. Something that couldn't happen to me. Something that couldn't happen to someone close to me. But the beast is out there every single day. It comes from the sky. It comes from below. It comes. It goes. I saw it from miles away. Miles and miles. And I could still feel its power. I could see it destroying, consuming. The world entering the void through its maw. Was it its fur? Or was it looking directly at me? I don't know. It could have been its claws. There could have been thousands. A legion. But one hunger, one purpose to consume. It knows nothing else. And how can I blame it? How can I fear it? How can I be angry? Just because it is destruction incarnate, it exists. I do not blame the fish for swimming, the birds for flying. Its wrath. Its wrath. Its wrath. Unparalleled, even by humanity. It could not be matched, and we do our best to stop it. It still eats us. It still eats families. It displaces. It destroys. It doesn't care. It doesn't think. Something so powerful, so pure in its purpose. Is it godhood? I don't think it's demonic. Maybe it is God.
Bring the fish, baby! Oh gosh, most people don't think they get up twice.
Thoughts are good.
Oh man! Oh, demons. Oh, demons. Alright, quick poll. Who here believes in,
I do.
Is Earth real? Or is it a simulation? Fuck
It
that
doesn't
shit.
matter either way.
Let's do it! That is the right answer.
Why is you guys not about that shit?
I think it's theater.
I'll be honest, I wasn't serious at all and I don't care. I think Earth's real, and I think the whole idea, it doesn't change anything because everyone's got to do the same thing anyway. If it was a video game, we'd have fucking power-ups. Jeez. I gotta get that. Now let's see who's next. Who's next? Carmen's next.
Where is she?
Carmen is next.
Wow.
Give a warm welcome to Carmen. Take the stool down.
I don't know that I
It is.
Yeah.
I gotta do us all a favor.
Nice eyes.
Super here. If you want it, and you do that,
Oh my
take it
God,
away.
you're so
But
really.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really have it, but you can use it.
Whoa.
That's for self-defense.
I'm taking
Anyway,
advantage of this situation right now. No one's ever beat me.
anyway, take it away. Do what you say.
I'm here to shine light on this situation.
Her
I want
tire-
to say
her
that I
eyes
am
on
very
this.
aware, and I am very scared. Well, I was scared.
Yay.
Bring it! I just want to give a shout out to James
Yo.
and Bobby Joe
Yes.
and everybody and everything. Okay. And before I forget, I started at page 3 phone number list. I'm not going to keep the phone number. If you want to write out here, I have a pen for now, and I will hand it to James. So when the legend continues, maybe you'll know about it. Okay, so this is called the end. The end of what? The end of this day? The end of the torture? The end of the creamer? The end is the beginning, is it not? To stop something is the starting of stopping. Oh, make it stop! So it can start to still. Ever changing, forever deranging, at peace with you, and your death within. For upon reflection, new life begins. It's not scary. It just is.
Oh man. Thanks for the shout out. Thank
Hey,
you all
you.
for all of this. I know I'm not doing the scary mask thing at the moment. Okay. God, it's weird. I feel like a fucking shadow person. This is great. I am a shadow. Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Don't anyone else do this. Okay? Obvious.
Sure.
Good. Alright. Not you,
Tell me
newbie.
more about it.
Paul, newbie. I wish we were still doing this. Alright. Next up. We have Eli!
Yeah, Eli!
Eli's coming.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Eli's coming.
Thank you. It's good.
Basmati.
Living in the age of
Hi, John.
Where are we at, Paul?
It's Mike. Yeah, I'm just gonna be up here talking about Alright. In that crack, in that instant, when you pull your fingers out, they're down, they're back, and forth until they're top. When you twist your spine, or crane your neck, or stretch your perfect ankles, what the hell? I screamed. I always buy dresses with big pockets, so I can collect things that happen to me. But I should use the space to carry instead some things I might need, like breath mints or gum, because I'm gagging from the taste of the wine forced toward the back of my throat. Because more will make all of this go away. I just need a little more. Maybe another sip, another hit. This will do it. I'm gonna waste away waiting for someone to notice my perfect socks, tumble into my life, and fall in love with me. I'm gonna melt away whenever someone comes close because I'm always shouting, what's wrong with me? And I don't want them to suffer through that. Unless I gain access to one of those tanks that come around, the sweet sweeper trucks. Unless I have one of those and some really good soap and someone to drive on top of me, then I don't think this kind of stuff will just wash away. What else we got? One sec. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, today was pretty cool. Just randomly decided to go to Cush and found out it's like the last night. So thank you everyone for being here. Mad shout out to costume cool human person for decoration.
Otter!
I want to give a shout out to James. I think it's really fucking cool that like places like this exist, and I just want to thank everybody for being here. Song actually.
Oh,
is this my shit? It's okay.
I'm just gonna look for one thing maybe, and then I'll sing a song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Change your mind to change the world. Without the earth, we are nothing. Look inside ourselves instead of relying on others. Instead of getting answers from others, search yourself. Search yourself for your own answers. Claim our own power. Stand up and take responsibility. Our limitations come from our own beliefs. And that's us. Is it cool if I use this guitar here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Use the other guitar.
Yeah, the other one. I don't
Use
care.
the bazooka!
Right?
Where's the bazooka?
It's right there. It's right there.
Oh shit. That's
Actually, man.
all right. Sorry, well, I stuff. I haven't played Harmony in a while. Oh shit. All right.
I know, man. Kill it.
Kill it. Lorax, 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 Lorax. Don't cut me down. Don't cut me down. Can you paint me green? Can you paint me green? Oh yeah. Can you make me scream? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
You go, keep playing, motherfucker! Come on, man, we'll help you.
Lorax, Lorax. Don't cut me. Sorry. Lorax,
Lorax!
Lorax, Lorax, Lorax. Don't cut me down. Don't cut me down. Old trees, they die. New trees we live on. Can you paint me green? Oh yeah. Can you make me scream? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Can you make me scream? Oh yeah. Real quick, I used to live at the Lorax Manor, and I fell behind on work trade hours, and I wrote that song for the house. And I was like, well, I didn't do my work trade, so I'm gonna write a cool song for the house. And after I moved out, people would play that song and like would sing it to me and stuff, and like it just feels good to like be able to share that and like make something that's their song.
Thank you for sharing your legacy with us.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'm done. Thank you for being here. Slayer.
Thank you, everyone.
For being.
Okay.
You're welcome. And thank you for the love.
Yeah.
All of you make this happen. All of you made this happen. Y'all made this happen!
Oh, yeah.
Y'all made this happen.
But also you, James, too. It'd be funny if you did it with no one.
No, it wouldn't, because I did that once. But I'll tell you something, I'll open up. If anyone laughs or makes fun of it, they're a douchebag. Just to be frank.
Okay.
But the first time, okay, a few years ago I did this Halloween event called Serial Killers Ball. Biggest event of the year. The next week no one came. I'd never had that before. And so I sat in the closet. I sat in the green room. And I'm dedicated to this place. And you know, it's an absolute fucking travesty for losing this. But here's the great thing, is I gained all of you. And also this came off, and whoever wants it, I want to see y'all fight later. No, I don't want to see you fight. I've seen enough. But anyway, we got more poetry coming. Dude, Bobby Joe, are you ready?
Yeah, you did great.
Take this terrifying terrifying Thank you.
All of us, because this is frustrating. You can't
More
do it.
strikes. It's like when you're up there, you're trying to get the thing all set up.
Yeah, you're
Like you guys are just watching me.
Yeah.
Sorry about the
It's fine.
Okay. So, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. Proved nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. I had been and I am, but why do you say I am bad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. In particular was my sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived it haunted me day and night. Object there was none, passion there was none. I loved the old man, he had never done me wrong, he had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. Then every night, just about midnight, I turned the latch on his door and opened it. Oh, so gently. When I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed so that no light shone out. Then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust within. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so as not to disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to put my whole head in so far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? Then, when my head was fully within the room, I undid the lantern cautiously, oh, so cautiously, because the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell out upon the vulture eye. This I did for 7 long nights. every night, just at midnight. But always the eye was closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. On the 8th night, and every morning, when the day broke, I entered his chamber boldly and spoke to him courageously, addressing him by name in a haughty tone, and inquiring how he had passed the night. On the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before this night had I felt the full extent of my own powers and my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. Here I was, opening the door little by little, and the old man not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. Philippe chuckled at the thought, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly as if startled. You might think I drew back, but no. The room was black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were close fastened through fear of robbers, and so I knew he could not see the opening of the door, and I pushed on, steadily, steadily. When my head was fully inside, and I was about to open the lantern, my thumb slipped on the tin fastening, and the old man shot up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in bed, listening, just as I have done many a night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was a groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or grief. Oh no, it was a low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew that sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, it had welled up in my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the cares that distracted me. I say I know the sound well. I knew what the old man was feeling, and pitied him, though I chuckled at heart. I knew he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise that made him turn in bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He tried to fancy them causeless, but could not. He's saying to himself, "Oh, it's nothing but the wind in the chimney. It's just a mouse crossing the floor. It is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Oh, yes. He tried to comfort himself with these suppositions, but all in vain. All in vain, because death, in making his approach, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was a mournful influence of this unperceived shadow that made him feel, though he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head. But I waited a long time, very patiently, without him lie down. I resolved to open a little, very, very little crevice in the lantern. And so I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily until it leaked a single thin ray, like the thread of a spider, shot from out the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I could see it with perfect distinctness, saw it dim, dull blue, with the hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the rays, if by instinct, precisely upon the dark spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but an over-acuteness of the sense? And now I say there came to my ears a low, dull, deep sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. The sound increased my fury as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But still, everything kept still. But yet everything kept still. I scarcely breathed. For a full hour, I heard nothing else, and I did not hear him lie down again. But I did not hear him lie down again. But the beating of the heart continued, increased, it grew faster and faster, louder and louder. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark my words? I have told you I am very nervous, so I am. In this dead hour of the night, in the dreadful silence of the old house, such strange a sound of this excited me to uncontrollable terror. But for some minutes yet I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder, louder, louder. I felt the heart must burst. And then a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped from the closet. The old man shrieked once only. In an instant, I had dragged him on the floor and pulled the heavy net over him. Then I smiled daily to find the breeze so far down. But the heart continued beating for many minutes more, muffled tone. But this, however, did not vex me, for it could not be heard too long. Presently, it stopped, ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand on his heart and held it there for many minutes. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no further. If still you think me mad, you'll think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night rained, and I worked hastily but in silence. At first, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the hair and the arms and the legs. Then I removed 3 planks from the flooring and deposited all between the scatlings. I replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There's nothing to wash out. There's no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatsoever. I had been too wary for this. The tub had caught all. Ha ha! When I had made an end of my labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. When the bell sounded the hour, there came a knock at the street door. I went down to answer it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? there entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor. Suspicions of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled. I had nothing to fear. I bade the gentlemen welcome. The shriek, I said, had been mine in a dream. The old man, I mentioned, was absent in the country. I took my visitors all through the house and bade them search and search well. I led them at length to the chamber, and in the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought in chairs and desired them to rest from their exertions. In the wild abandon of my perfect triumph, I set my own seat directly above the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and as I answered gaily, they chatted about familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting faint and whistling on. My head hurt, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they sat and still chatted. The ringing grew more distinct. It continued and grew more distinct. I spoke more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained defineness. And ere long, I found that the sound was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale. But the officers said nothing. I spoke more fluently and in a higher tone, but the sound increased. I arose and argued about trifles with violent gesticulations, but the sound increased. Oh, why could they not be gone? I paced to and fro with heavy steps, shouting as if I had been excited to fury by the observations of the men, but the sound increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I stood, I cried. I picked up the chair upon which I had been sitting and scraped it over the boards. Sound grew louder, louder, louder. But the officers chatted on pleasantly and smiled. Could it be? They heard not? Oh God, my God, no. They heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of my heart. This I thought, and this I think, but anything was better than this agony. Anything was more bearable than their derision. And I could no longer stand their hypocritical smiles. And hark, and again, louder, louder, louder. Fiends, I shrieked, dissemble no more. I confess the deed, pull up the thanks. Here, it is the beating of his hideous heart.
Woo!
I was in that room right there.
Who was that?
That is
The lady?
You can keep that hood.
Okay. Sometimes I need to get it.
My goodness, the entirety memorized. I want to give another round of applause on that one.
Yeah!
So, to give a little backstory, a small teensy weensy bit. Okay, before any of this was anything, I gave, every week I was coming out with like a character list, a volunteer list, art list, all this stuff. And I gave people assignments. I'm like, I need characters, I need things. Last year, Bobby Joe did the Raven. And then, top that, did the Telltale Heart. And I don't know where next year will be, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have another special guest who has been waiting a long time. They've come all the way from New Orleans to visit us.
Ooh.
I don't know their name, so I'm just going to call them the Axeman. Alright, tell me to move. Ah! I'm going to move this.
I was going to dive straight into it, but this is going to be my last night here at Cush. Just a quick thank you to James for setting all this up. I discovered this in March, and I guess that's really when it took off. And I'm excited for where it's going next. So, Bobby Joe's memorization skills are insane. And my vampire son fell asleep, so I have to bounce after I read this stuff. Okay. Look at you, a gathered flock in your plastic chairs. Welcome to the spookiest night of the year. The first being when I show up at your bedside, head angled perfect, on silk and soft pillow, dreams found floating, and you sleeping unaware. 100 years ago you were warned in a letter to you humans, a beastly sort. And it seems lessons are forgotten, and here we are again, and let's see if you forget me this time. A new letter for you will remind me, pasted in the bathrooms at Sam Bond's for all to see. Esteemed mortals of the Trump era, you can lock him up, but not me. Oh, on the slippery sort, serpentine slipping through the cracks, can't be grasped through feeble clasped hands and minds, thrown hidden into the forgetful caverns of past happenings, like dusty books in old dusty libraries, tucked away from the people. And who has the attention span for books these days? Ah, well, here I am again. And like then, your back doors can be locked if it's comfort you need. Seek it like warm blanket security, but like ether, though I look like Peter, I'm invisible, never seen, a non-human demon spirit from hell's hot embers. I'll get in either way. Your vigilante night cruise badge, shiny booted boys in blue, sweeping streets and back alleys looking for a man that doesn't exist, appearing like a summons from the darkest order, popping up as a mushroom lifting the soil and dawn. Victims from the South Hills high in the pines, moans deadened by the cackling gusts of those damn turkey clips. The Volvos rusting curbside and the wit will be driverless again, flat tires deflating like the owner's lungs I exposed, gasping that last pained grasp for life. From Western to Spring-tucky, no one escapes, not even lucky. Hell has a way to make you pay your coming dues. Across campfires burning in emerald valleys, camping in your Westphalias for escape, you Eugenians sing about me and call me the Axeman. The Axeman swings into town. In big block letters, it sells headlines. The register guard has never been so hot, but they can't fathom the real. The fake news you read can't soften my blade, and I'm sure my next victim has read the latest pulse and turned the page believing of fear and hope. Let me tell you, there will be more. Their brains and blood gathered on the only clue left behind, the axe. Oh, that axe. Sexy ass axe. Fear its swing, the cut through skin meets seductive sinew calls like siren song. The nick in the bone, a chilling thud of satisfaction, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. I'm lonely down below, and I'm just trying to find mortals that can dig it. Hell is a cool place, perhaps hella cool. Nahaga, made hell great again. So I search and shop, and you just can't stop me. The criers in the boulevards, the criers in the cathedrals, the criers at times relentless pain. They will continue, as will I. And who will be next for the gasps of the city to bellow? Like many before, my entry is simple, the axe mighty nimble, placed between slender shoulders with a head for golden spill of like ink, squirting romantic across cotton sheets and Sherwin Williams paint jobs, flash bulbs of the police capturing the scene. Only I know who will be hauled off to the dungeons of Hades to meet the satanic majesty. But I give you this gift, for I'm a kind demon. On Tuesday, October 29th, shrouded under a lacework of stars in cool autumn air, I want to hear poetry in every house, in the back rooms of coffee shops, the ones with the best coffee in town. Let me hear it on every corner of every street. I'm a lover of the craft, a devourer of words. Those jabbers of poetry will be spared, so let those pens write, let those tongues flick, and the axe will stay dry. Let those words be about love, but love in action, and lies. Let them be about revolution, but revolution in action, for petitions are an extinguished Molotov. Be the devils of flame that burn change across centuries, or we'll send another orange man after you. The hum of summer has run off. Kaleidoscope leaves fall, waving one last time. Fog thickens the morning's view. Our commutes cutting through it. What lays beyond the fog and on the front page is up to you. Yours eternally,
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Oh! Thank you, thank you. I want to hear poetry in every house.
Yes.
In every venue.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you a quick backstory since James isn't up here yet. Maxman wrote a letter and he basically told everyone in New Orleans he would spare their lives if they played jazz on night.
What?
Apparently that night there was jazz everywhere. No one wanted to die.
Wow.
No one did.
It makes sense.
That's crazy. Did that sound real?
Backstory. It's wild.
The backstory
wild.
helped very much.
Man, what a thing for a record.
I don't know about wearing a costume. I feel like I've worn enough costumes in my life.
The biggest costume is being a functioning adult.
Right?
This helped me function, period. Anyway, let's take in. Oh, I like taking axes to things sometimes, just not people. Axes are fun. I used to get angry and chop wood.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I used to also get really hyper and chop wood. Because that was fun. Now I think of anti-jazz enthusiasts and I think, wow, that must have been fun. That was a real laugh, too.
All right. So, next up,
my friend Trevor is coming up here.
and there's something I want to do before the night is through, before everyone leaves and exits out the back, is I want to pass a box, or the donation box around, so we can give something back to the person who made it so we can do this impossible thing. So I'm gonna pass the box around, and all funds are going towards their safety, like a hotel, food, any of it. You know, I want to do as much as I can. And I put my money in there to start. I don't really have money. So let's see if I even have any money. You know, we're poets after all, right? I don't think I do. Anyway, Trevor, coming up here. And then I just start the box off. He brought a hat.
I want to do it after the poem.
After the poem? Can we do it after the poem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Uncle Jim made this from the Midwest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty sweet.
Hello.
It's different.
That's good.
Alright. Good enough.
Alright, cool. This thing is infamous for dipping.
Well, I can dip with it.
Fantastic. Alright. Take it away, Trevor.
Alright. Let's see, what is this? Okay. I wasn't going to name this poem, but before I read it, I'm going to say it. I wouldn't be on the stage here if it wasn't for everybody here to make it something worth coming to. I want to start by saying the reason I first came here was for the coffee. To get away from the wandering goat, away from other places in the neighborhood that, you know, it's just another flavor. It's across the tracks. It's a different vibe, and I think it's not. Hello. Hello. Oh, never mind. I'm choosing my words carefully because I just wrote this in the front while I was watching the front for you guys. Ruby, so she could watch the poetry. Anyway, it's called Con Coffee Blue Raspberry Nightmare with a K. Like a Choco chiller, chilling on the main line. Fentanyl for breakfast, looking for the killer. Green Man Nightmare, horseman on the wild side, break on through to the further side. A side of eggs, the son of Sam, Prince of Darkness, I suppose. I suppose this show will never end, because the pages of your life fly by night. On Tuesday morning sunshine daydreams. Only exception is it's Sunday brunch on a cold pre-November Santa Ana windstorm, sweeping all the burnt witches right on out of the ditches. That's my triple explanation. Before they drown in the clogged gutters of the rat-infested nuclear bomb sewage of your own gases, of the hoarding, gluttonous Californians, just kidding, to make us think we're invincible in this great siege upon our so-called freedoms of expression, to the utmost triple hopscotch, squared and doubled down. Call that bluff, son, ante up and keep it under your hat. When time has sprung a leak and they're all running scared, that's a quote from the guy in St. Louis. Drinking cowboy con coffee, that's another one, con coffee always. With that straight poker face, conquering the blue notes into that transcendental rodeo into the sky blue Colorado rocky thin air, like a balloon filled with helium, alighting in the full Van Morrison moonlight like a John Prine song that sounds too good to be true. Like the song that remains the same, like a John Lennon / Martin Luther King let the harbinger of the good things to come. If I was a poet and didn't know it, I wouldn't have been this inspired, except we got stuck on page 2. And this is next level extra credit shit. Like shit that's been polished in one hand and wishes in the other. Shiny, wishful shit. Like Thor's new girlfriend in the early morning light. Taking flight with wings too big to fathom the depths that this momentous time feels sunken like the new Carissa. It's about to blow the whale blubber into the sky only to fall down in large putrefied chunks of hope. Hope, not dope. Unless you like that sticky green tree that grows like heaven's weeds. Just like Genghis Khan on the loose. 3 years of legality was what they estimated. Before the sine waves would even out and someone would supersede no one for president. Like wavy cap gravy on a muddy hillside of actuated dreams, living for the moment of time, stuck in gratitude for this great chance for success beyond judgment. Love, peace, and hippies in the greasiest spoon of our existence on the planet, fighting to get to Mars. Just kidding. On the Day of the Dead, you're supposed to exorcise your demons to the back of the closet. For as long as the pendulum swings, people will take advantage of the backslide and slide away into the Golden River by I.P. Freely. Ever heard of it? It's a book, it's a joke. I.P. Freely.
You're a niche.
Written by I.P. Freely. The infamous author that showed his light through dark humor. The good old boy, old school, opposite double backflip round off. The last go round on the cornucopia of Gaia. I don't have many more words at the moment, but I'm truly grateful to James the Peach, a true testament to Oregon Country Fair, Rainbow, Eugene family, no matter if you are on page 2 or you're going to turn the page and go up to somewhere else like success. I think that's it. This hat was the one that's been sitting there forever. Nobody ever puts any money on it. But I was wearing it and so I'm passing it around for donations. You can pass it.
These go to the woman who is assaulted.
And I also wanted to say thank you for Steve and Lanny for letting this happen. And to Josh, of course, even though I got a wife beater on underneath all this shit. I'm not going to show you. I was just telling you. Just a little tribute for Josh, too. And thank you for Jen for carrying on the tradition and everybody's good energy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh. So, I got, well, the show's almost over, you guys. The gals. And all the team. And, as such, after, my bonus poems have a bit longer tonight. Normally I read 3 poems on Halloween. One at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. I'm just gonna go for it now. But anyway, let's give a welcome to Trista, who helped out a shit ton as well. In the wonderful, freaky side room over there. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's all for Jen. All this for Jen. You want this mic?
Yeah.
It's a little short.
I'm like, I don't know if we're loud enough.
Here, come up on the stage. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want my mouth wrapped around your throat, your flesh between my teeth. I want to feel your life rolled over my tongue and down my throat. Oh, my darling, I just want to tear you apart. I want to feel my blade go into you, grind my boot into your decaying flesh. Oh, sweetheart, I want to yank the blade out of you, to take your damn head off and shower in your cooling blood. Honey, I want your heart. I want to rip your cold black heart from your chest and crush it in my hands.
My.
I'll haunt your dreams, making your life turn sour. I will break you like you had broken me down, hurt you like you hurt me. I think I'll give you a little hell, but of hell, my lovely. I am a little insane after all.
Yeah!
I think we're all a little crazy. It's kind of nature of being human now, isn't it? We do all the things humans don't do. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm all over the map.
You are the map.
I am a map. Draw on me.
You're a peach.
But, yeah, humans are insane. And also, you know what? I'm glad we can talk about darkness, and we can talk horror, and we can do all this spooky shit. Because no one else is doing it. No one else, no other poetry night. And, anyway.
That's the best reason ever.
We got one last performer that I've signed up, I believe. I'm gonna double check, just to make sure.
Ooh.
And, of course it goes missing. Oh, the show's not supposed to end yet, is it? Well, I got one more performer, I believe. If anyone sees the tone. The tone. I think after this, I'm gonna just pass it around.
That's not it.
No, that's not it. That's it. That's it. It's right there, right where it should be. Exactly where it should be. Yep, we got one more. And then I'm going to do my final set. For here. Anyway, Mark, come on up here and let's hear about the beauty of nature. Whatever it is you have brought.
Hey, everybody!
Hey, Mark.
Cush, page 2.
Look at this. You know, this took me so long to figure out how to do. And man, gosh. Here we are, together for a moment. I'd like, before I do anything else, I think it's really important that we give a warm round of applause to Jen. And also to all of you, especially the folks who are here this weekend, and maybe who aren't here right now as well. This is the end of an era, and I think it's important we you know, it's like, anyone here ever see Peter Pan? Right. You know when Tinkerbell's dying, how the audience gets ever louder and louder? Let's do that. One last time. One last penultimate time.
Are we doing a slow clap?
Start slow, get faster. Do whatever.
Okay.
Let's do it. Oh! Okay, no more pretending. Here goes. I won't do part 2. I got another poem. I'll post part 2 on my poetry page. James Otter. Poet.
This is called Running on Fumes. I've been to the desert, prayed to the moon. I've made dangerous bets in shady places. I once traded my soul for infamy and love. The value was sordid, it was barely enough. I've hiked the tall mountains, made love under the sky. I've paced the asylum, never asking why. I always have my ear to the stereo, the action's all around. I've slept for days to wake up in 100 years. Been down the rabbit hole, wonderland, wonder bread, nights cold and dry, overheated, underwhelmed. I've watched loved ones die, didn't shed a single tear. The price is too low. I've donated pints of blood to the vampires below. Pint and pint of my own time. Lost my home, quit my job, hitched across the country to find someone to rob. I fuck around in cemeteries, talk shit with the ghosts. I drank wine with a pumpkin head, horseman friend of mine. He doesn't speak so well because of his teeth. Those pearly whites are spendy, never sell cheap. Been doing sketchy things middle of the day. Steal a cycle in the afternoon, hop on my train. I've stepped off every trail. I'm not lost, I'm over here. Spun webs in the heavy pines. Waited for the devil in the barren pines. Traded my soul back, it came back clean and fresh. Polished up, well maintained. I don't think this one's mine. I've slipped and I've fallen. Left my body and returned. I saw truth, learned to lie, had a booth, sold french fries. In all my time living, I never thought I'd die. The blood on my hands never seems to dry. I dwell in coughing fits as you lay in your bed. I sing songs to the trees, 100 feet high. I've hung upside down with bats, brought bread to the needy. I always find myself in places most seedy. I'm good in a way, like a storm cloud in a desert. People run away, and that's my dessert. My meals are all pork, long from the bone, drying out in the oven, drying out for a tome. I write about sleeping, my dreams never lie. I write when you're weeping, one day we all die. It's time to move on to rougher waters. I paint like ink blotters. This isn't really the end. My name is James Otter. I will always be a friend. Let's weep for the show that was cut from its cord. We grow and move on. We will sow our seeds elsewhere. By the way, did you hit record?
That was... Okay, now, I have an epitome, and I do have the second half to that other poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Fuck yeah!
Fuck
yeah! Fuck!
Yuck 5. Are you sure you want the epitome?
Yes.
Fuck it.
We're
here for it.
When I read that epitome, after that, there's no coming back.
Let's do it.
Well, I guess it's time. Whoever, I'll pick it back up. Tear down the walls that obscure us from the truth. Tear down the plastic.
Don't do it. No. I just
Ball it, bag it, and drag it all home. I hope you remember this. We've been here for years, so when you go home, raise a beer and 3 cheers to keeping a show nobody knows alive, for living and suffering in all of our strides. Cush Cafe was once safe until the ceiling leaked. I once ate birthday cake in the front room. I left behind my bad years and things got much better. No asylum, no madness, just quickly typed letters. All of you made this happen, whether you see it or not. You brought the life here, and we must cut the knot. We can move on to new places, new ways of being true, and expand the dreams across the tides of life. We will build a new sanctuary. We've gone above and beyond. It started with a monster that I made up myself. It started with a host unlike myself, a true coach, with strong words who was always listening. He was going to shut it all down. My teardrops were glistening. I stood up. I stood proud. I was planning to take it. Those first few weeks, I wasn't sure we would make it. So here's to all of you who brought truth to this stage. To all of you who brought laughs, who cried, who made stories and died. This one goes out to page 2. It's time to move on. Cush is dead, but the show still goes on. I love you all. It's time to tear down the plastic walls. Thank you for everything. We all worked so hard to make this dream a reality. Especially Jen. I'd like, if anyone wants to come up and say a few words for like, maybe just like a blurb or something. Come now, I won't call.
I gotta say that Cush has been kick-ass for 3-4 years. I'm just looking at the pictures out front. Halloween 2015, and we've been doing it since. It's meant a lot to me, not just Halloween, but every Tuesday. I can't tell you how many hundreds of poems I was able to try out here first. And I just put out the 4th book. If I hadn't been able to bounce them off the walls in here, I don't think I would have been able to do that. So I thank James, I thank Cush, I thank everybody who kept coming, and it's meant a lot to me.